Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurumedeva Sarvakarashi Sarvadam Ganganapate Namaha. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwara Guru Deva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandatitam Gagana Sadrusham Tattvamasyadi Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalabachanam Sarvadi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Sarva Mangala Mangalle Shive Sarvartha Sadhike, Sharanyatrambake Devi Narayani Namostute, Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Mahalakshmi Rupena Samstita, Namastasya, 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 Namo Namaha, Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Shri Hanumate Namaha. Om. Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 29th of August 2025. I want to offer my prostrations. Anantagodi Namaskara, Anantagodi Pranam, Dandavat Pranam to all of the great sages and to Paramatma residing in the heart of every single being at all times and in all places. We are continuing in the current series until the end of this year and probably into next year also on Prem-Lakshana Bhakti. Please remember from past recordings, Prema Bhakti is described in Narad Bhakti Sutra, and it is also the culmination of the Navada Bhakti. Just as a quick reminder, everyone who is online should be aware of this now. Some new people are there also, so I'll just do a very brief review. That remember that in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 9 forms of devotion or sadhana are specifically listed, and they are spoken by Shri Prahlad-ji. You know, he's a small child towards Bhagwan Vishnu. So this is where this comes from in the Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is 18,000 verses. It is different from the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is in the Mahabharata, 700 verses. Bhagavatam is the 18th Puran written by Vedvyas-ji. In there, these 9 forms of devotion comes, and the Navada Bhakti is as follows, as a quick reminder. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam. These are the 9 steps. We have been looking at these now for quite a while in terms of the last 3 or 4 months or so. The 10th Bhakti is where our entire psychological framework takes a dimensional jump. So what is that psychological framework? In Vedanta, that is called Antakarana. Manas, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankar. So another classification which we have in our other program, the Angel Wing program, we put that in another way. Thoughts, emotions, memories, desire, energy. This is a little bit easier to understand this. And if you put your hand up like this, I would hope that you would have this memorized. Thoughts, emotions, memories, desires, and energies. If you don't have it memorized right now, it's okay. I'll send you the information later. That is our inner world. Antarik Jagat. Antarka Jagat. I'll speak in Hindi a little bit, in Gujarati, Marathi I do know, but the speaking it is a little bit difficult for me, that's all. So the internal world is a great mystery. It is called Sukshma Sharir. Sukshma Sharir. So Vedanta classifies 3 bodies. Physical body is called Stula Sharir. Sukshma Sharir is our subtle body. And the Karana Sharir is the 3rd body. It is not a physical body like this. Even the Sukshma Sharir is not a physical body, but it is called Sharira. So the causal body is the composite of millions of lifetimes of impressions and sanskars. And that is the block, essentially, that is causing rebirth. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jatare shayanam. Ihe sansare bahudustare krupaya pare pahi murari bhaji govindam. Right? So this is Shankaracharya ji has stated that also. That the 3 shariras, beyond them is our actual swarup, who we are. So who are we? We are Chaitanyam, Sat Chit Ananda. Our actual real swarup is that. But it has gotten lost inside the entanglements of the material existence. So this is just to be understood, because the realization of the Atma Tattva is self-realization. Advaita Vedanta is talking about that. It shows us how to do that. But then what about bhakti? It's an interesting question. What about bhakti? Well, bhakti is essentially, it is love for God with mahima. Bhakti is dualistic in the beginning stages. It's called Dvaita Bhav. Right? So from Vedanta point of view, Madhvacharya ji is the major Acharya in the Dvaita Vedanta, Dvaita dualistic Vedantic interpretations. So Dvaita Bhav is where there is Bhagwan, whichever Swarup you are believing in, it doesn't matter, God is only one. Bhagwan Krishna, Bhagwan Ram, Bhagwan Shankar, etc. Devi, whichever the Ishta is. But there is a dualistic worship. This is called Dvaita Bhav. Now in this Dvaita Bhav, in this dualistic bhav, the 9 forms of bhakti can take hold. I'm just giving a quick review here so we're on the same page. The 9 forms of devotion, Shravanam, listening to the talks, listening to bhajan, kirtan, katha, listening to charitra, lila charitra, things like that. That is Shravan bhakti. Then kirtan bhakti, Shravan kirtan, to do bhajan kirtan, Shravanam kirtan, Vishnu is Bhagwan. Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam. So these are all ways of tuning our this TEMDE, thought, emotion, memory, desire, energy, the antakarana. It is tuning it to the frequency of devotion. So we need to understand this point very carefully, because without that tuning, we will not be able to actually connect with Paramatma, because the connection on the outside, what we consider to be the upasya form, upasya meaning, since we're talking about Bhagwan Krishna and Sri Radharani, Sri Radhika ji as an example, but you can have Shankar Bhagwan and Devi Parvati, Lakshmi ji and Bhagwan Narayan, different forms. It's absolutely fine. The point is that there is the external worship, what we consider to be external worship. So for example, I'm just going to show you a little bit of a PowerPoint here, so you can see this. So for example, we have this murti of Ganapati, Ganeshji, right? It's a murti, right? So when we do this mantra, Om Gam Ganapate Namaha, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. So the mantra connects with the form. The form is this is a Bal Ganesh, let's say. It's a child form of Ganesha. There are thousands of images of Ganesha that have been painted and created in murtis. All these things are definitely going on. So when we speak the mantra is to be spoken when you have taken a shower, are ready to do the sadhana, sitting in front of the murti. There should be pavitra bhav. Pavitra, physical body needs to be pavitra before mantras are spoken. Right? So that's an important thing to keep in mind. And then the mantra is spoken. Now you see this murti here, Ganesh ji ki murti. But what is the Swarup Nishta inside? Those who are worshipping Shri Ganesh, as I'm giving this as an example, but we can go into any form of Bhagwan Krishna. Let's take, for example, this form of Sri Krishna as an example. Right? Since we've been focusing on Radha and Krishna, let's stay with that. Let's say we want bhakti for Bhagwan Krishna. You see how the murti is so extraordinary, so beautiful. We feel that the murti is extremely beautiful. Yes, it is. So there is nishta, Swarup Nishta, that this is Paramatma. We've been talking about this. This is called Archa Avatar, Vigraha Avatar. This is the best place to begin. To begin with the murti. Have a beautiful murti of Ishta Devata with a great Shraddha. The murti should be very attractive to your bhakti. It should evoke bhakti. That is why those who have made the murti, they have made it with certain bhav, certain feeling, and then the bhav inside the heart, the understanding inside the heart, the love inside the heart connects with Bhagwan. I hope this is clear. So that is our goal. Bhakti means love. In the Shikshapatri, Bhagwan Swaminarayan gives a definition. People have heard the name Swaminarayan these days. It should be easy to understand now, but people don't know what exactly it's all about. He was a great sage, actually, and he has also given definition of Bhakti in Shikshapatri, which is an extract of 360 scriptures. It's a Adbhut Bate, right? What is the definition? Mahatma Jnana Sneha Bhaktischa Madhave. If you look in Maharashtra, you've got the Varkari Sampradaya. You have so many devotees of Vitthal, etc., Vitthal, Rukmini, etc. The devotional bhav inside our heart, that devotional bhav towards the chosen deity. So, because we have to choose. Maybe it has come in parampara, maybe it has come in family, or maybe it's just coming from our heart. That's where it has to come from. So the chosen Ishta, so those whose Ishta is Sri Krishna, for example, then that Ishta has to be solid. This is called Swarup Nishta. Let me talk about that a little bit just to make sure we're clear on these points. Bhagwan ka ek Swarup pakadna. So this is called Swarup Nishta. Now, some people will say, well, wait a minute, I like to do, 5 malas of Krishna mantra, 5 malas of Hanumanji, 5 malas of this, Ganesha, etc. You can do that. That's fine. Not an issue. But who is the Ishta? The main central focus. If it is Radha and Krishna, then it has to be Radha and Krishna. That is called Upasya Swarup, and all of the other forms are called Pujya Swarup. He said they are Pujya. You can do bhajan kirtan, we can do everything for them. But the heart is connected to the one Swarup. That is, now if we're not at that level yet, do pujan archan of all the different deities. Aapke jaisa Bhagwan to ek hi hai. Ekam sat vipraha bahudha buddha. God is not two different things, but it is a matter of connection. It is a matter of connection and interconnection. So these are points we've covered before. I'm just quickly just going through a quick review here. Now, to continue from yesterday, now we're picking up from where we were yesterday. We've been talking about Ojas. Ojas, what is Ojas? It is this extraordinary refined power inside the brain, inside the mind, inside the spinal cord, inside the body. There's two kinds of Ojas, Para Ojas and Apara Ojas. We'll talk more about that later. I don't want to go into that right now. But basically, it is the refined, stored energy. It is the core root energy. It is coming from the sun. That is why when we do Gayatri Mantra, Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Om Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Right? When we do Gayatri Mantra, we're connecting with the energy in the sun, because that same energy is inside of us. It's the same energy that is in the sun, actually in the sun. That exact energy is inside the entire body, inside the mind. It is what is giving us the experience of the body, the sharir. Bhagwan Krishna says in chapter 15 of the Gita that the light of the sun, that is my light. In chapter 15, Purushottama Yoga, Bhagwan Krishna, chapter 15 of the Bhagavad Gita has 20 verses in Sanskrit. It starts with Urdhva Mula Shakam Ashwatham Prahuravayam Chandansi Yasya Paranani Yastam Vedasa Vedavit. This is the first verse of chapter 15. So there's 20 verses like this. And in one of those verses later on, it's beautifully stated that Paramatma, that supreme Purushottam, Parabrahma, wo ek hi hai. That is not two. It is only one tattva. And that its own Shakti, Ojas. This word Ojas comes in chapter 15. I'll show you the verses later on because we don't have that much time today. But the Ojas word that we have been looking at for the last 10 days or so, or how many ever days, that is in the chapter 15. Yes, Bhagwan Krishna says, I am the source of that Ojas, vital energy, supreme energy. And that is present within us. And that same Purushottama, that same Sri Krishna Purushottam, Parabrahma Purushottam, you can call it any name you want. You can call it Shiva, you can call it Devi, you can call it Ganesha. Jo naam aapko, it doesn't make any difference to God what name you call Jehovah, Jesus, Allah. Aapko jo naam, whatever you want to call, you can call. Doesn't matter. Naam and Nami, names are many. Nami is one. So it is like that. Jo bhi naam se bulao, but that is the one tattva. That same tattva is in the heart. So it is a vertical ascent. Let's be clear about this. It is a vertical ascent in the tattvik jnana of the Swarup of Paramatma. The tattva that is Paramatma, the actual being that is Paramatma. That is the ontological realization of Parabrahma Paramatma. And along with that, there is the devotional intersection. I hope this is clear. So when Bhakti and Gnan, in the Vedantic language, once they intersect beautifully, it is within our heart that the Lord who exists within the heart, that Parabrahma Tattva, that exists in the abode of God, in the Golok Dham, in the Param Dham, Tat Dham Paramam Mama. Bhagavad Dham is transcendent to the material existence. That same Paramatma is in our own heart right now. So where is God? People say, where is it's inside of you? That's what the Gita teaches us. Now we have to discover that. How do we discover that? Navdha Bhakti. Start the process of this external worship first. भगवान के साथ संबंध कैसे हम जोड़ सकते हैं? I've always given this example of a young couple going for dating. This is easy to understand. They physically meet each other. They go to a restaurant. They go to each other's houses. Whatever, they're going for trips and they're meeting each other. Physically, they're meeting. Physically, they're sitting in front of each other. And then eventually, they don't touch each other in the beginning. They hold hands after some time. Okay, then the hand is held, maybe at a movie theater. I'm giving a very worldly example. Easy to understand this. This is how relationship is built. Relationship is not built in the snap of a finger. Not in this world, in this sansar. It is not built anywhere like that. Bhagwan ke saath bhi sambandh jodna hai. It's going to take time. So the Navdha Bhakti is the relationship building process. That is the Navdha Bhakti. 9 forms of devotion. Start that process. Have a vigraha. Bhagwan ka swarup hona chahiye. If you have Guru Parampara, fantastic. Guru Parampara should be solid. If there's no Guru Parampara, you can always make Bhagwan Dattatreya ji Guru, make Bhagwan Krishna Guru, Bhagwan Shankar Guru, Hanuman ji bhi aap Guru bana sakte hai. Koi baat nahi. Unko prarthana kara, you are my Guru. And then if that is the divine will, maybe a physical Guru can be somebody who is fully enlightened. If you have that shraddha, that may come. If not, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry at all. Because people are sometimes so overly concerned, that I have to make a guru. You don't have to make a guru. The guru will find you. You make yourself the guru to find the right path ahead. And that guru is already the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita se bada koi guru hai hi nahi. There is no greater guru than the 700 verses of the Gita. So the external gurus are also there to promote our internal realization only. They are not to be just worshipped just for the sake of worship. It's not like that. Mantra mulam gurur vakyam, puja mulam gurur padam. I don't want to go too much into that right now. But the point is, Guru Tattva in reality is everywhere. This is the great teaching to learn from Guru Dattatreya ji. Bhagwan Dattatreya. Bhagwan Dattatreya ji made 24 gurus. Unki sthiti thi aisi. He made everything a guru. The earth is a guru, the wind is a guru, the tree is a guru, the plant is everything. Everything is a guru, right? 24 gurus were made. He taking a lesson from that and then making it into a guru, because the word guru means gu to ru. Gu is darkness. Ru is prakash, divya prakash. It is a process of internal vertical ascent. Yes, this is what the Urdhva Moolam Adhashakam Ashvatam Prahuravyam, first verse of the chapter 15 of the Gita. Bhagwan Krishna says, Urdhva Moolam Adhashakam. Shakam meaning all these branches that are this Brahmand, Ananta Prakar ke Brahmand. And then all the Veda mantras are part of those leaves actually, but the Vedanta, the Mood Tattva, Purushottama Tattva, Parabrahma Tattva, jo dham mein rehte hai, tad dham paramam mama, na tad bhasayate suryo, na shashanko na pavakaha, yad gatvana nivartante, tad dham paramam mama. Once we reach that abode of God through Archi Marg, as per Garada Pratham 21 Vachanamrut, the Jivatma reaches into the abode of God by Krupa when we leave this body. Ye jo sharir diya hai, what is the purpose of this body, by the way? It should be very clear. There's 3 purposes. As per Srimad Bhagavatam, and that is verses there referenced in Karyani number 1 Vachanamrut. 3 purposes of this body. That is Buddhi Indriyamana Pranan Jananam Asrujat Prabho Matrarthancha Bhavarthancha Yatmane Kalpanaya. 3 purposes. We can do punyam. We can do good works in this sansar, accumulate a lot of punyam. It's punyam meaning good deed, good quality energy, if you want to call it that. It's an accumulation, and the result is to go into the Svarga Lokas. There are 14 Lokas, we go into the Svarga Loka. Yes, that is one possibility. Another possibility is that, that we are just wanting to keep expanding the material experience here. So we do some good dharmic activity. Dharmic doesn't mean religious, just a good level of activity, come back into this Mrityu Lok. That is a second possibility. But there's a third possibility. And that is moksha, yatmane kalpanayacha. That we can use this body for Bhagavad Dham destination. It is like setting a destination. I've mentioned it before, mentioning it again, because that's what this is all about. What is the destination once this body goes? Have we thought about this? This is something to be thought about every single day. ये शरीर जब छूट जाएगा कहाँ जाना है, किसके पास जाना है, गर्भवास में आना है? Or there's actually another destination. If the negative karma is there, it can go into you will not get a human body. The Jivatma goes into the lower life forms. That must not happen. Kundalini Shakti goes below Muladhara Chakra and one gets lost inside the sansar, into the lower life forms. That absolutely must not happen. इसीलिए भगवान कृष्ण कहते हैं ना, काम क्रोध लोभ नरक का द्वार है. Once you start expanding those three, that opens the doorway into the lower level. It's extreme. We don't want that to happen at all. We want from this body is the city of 9 gates. The Gita teaches us. It is a city of 9 gates, and the king is the Atman. Actually, it is Paramatma. So that realization is going to happen when we take this destination towards Bhagavan by doing upasana. Bhagavan ki upasana hum karte hai. So when we do this 9 forms of devotion, the first point is that our sambandha is established. That's what I was talking about just a moment back. To establish the sambandha. It doesn't happen just like that. It takes time to go through the scriptures, listen to various guru paramparas. Don't get confused by the massive number of paramparas that are there. The different people are talking from so many different angles. Be careful. The internal confusion we don't want. So Sachin's humble recommendation here is simple. Stay with the original verses. Try to understand the original verses of the Gita. Pray to Bhagwan Krishna. Ask blessings from Shri Radhika ji. And then whatever sages, saints, whoever organizations they're teaching, see what you can incorporate. If somebody wants to follow a parampara, absolutely fine, beautiful. Aapki ichha, you can go deeper in that way. Be careful about fanaticism, kattarvad, jisko kehte hain, ye nahi hona chahiye. That is against spiritual principles. That is against realization. In Gujarati, this is called kattarvadi. I don't know exactly what the Marathi language is, but that kind of state of mind is very, very harmful. So that should not happen. That should be very easy to understand at this point. All right. So having said all of that, the destination then is set. Dheyo Narayano Hari, Bhagwan ko prapta karna hai. That is where the Bhagavad Gita is Brahma Vidya. Understand this point. The Brahma Vidya, it says Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade, right? Panchodasho Dhyaya, like this. At the end of each chapter it is written like this. Why is it called Brahma Vidya? Brahman or Akshara Brahman or Parabrahman, it has to do with the highest consciousness. That is what the Gita's teachings are about. And to reach that Param Dham, the 9 forms of devotion are the foundation. They are the doorway. They are the bridge building. They are the relationship building process. Once the relationship is built, then there's a marriage. Isn't it true between a young couple, 22, 25 years old? Then they say, now we've been dating for a long time. Then they go through engagement. Then they are married. Then they go through a marriage ceremony. They exchange the rings. Isn't it so? What is that? Marriage is different from dating. Marriage is different from just getting to know each other. There's a new level of relationship. Yeah. So this is called, in Gujarati again, it is called Pativratani Bhakti. Pativrata. Pativrata means what? That the woman, female, is dedicated to her husband, completely, whole and soul. That is called a Pativrata Nari. This is an analogy. Please remember, it's an analogy. Similarly, the man has to be dedicated to his wife that way, same way. This is called a marriage. This is called a deep bond. It's a bond of marriage. It is called Lagna Granthi in the Sanskrit. We say Lagna Granthi means knot of marriage. Okay, fine, beautiful. Similarly, we want a knot of love, not this word knot, K-N-O-T, not in the negative sense. Not in a binding sense, to be bound to Paramatma. Bhagwan ke saath binding hona chahiye. Now that's a amazing thing. Now we already have the capacity to bind. We know how to bind to the sansar, to the people of the world, the objects of the world, etc. We know how to do all of that. Now take that same capacity and bind to Ishta Devata. Again, Sachin's humble recommendation, Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is an absolute foundation for everyone in Sanatana Dharma, everyone in the world. It's not even about a particular religion. That is the foundation. in Maharashtra, we have the extraordinary parampara of Sant Gnaneshwar. कितनी अद्भुत बात है वो. Gnaneshwari, इसका अभ्यास होना चाहिए. Don't waste time. Those people who know Marathi and can study Marathi, don't waste one moment even. So dive into Gnaneshwari. इसमें डूब जाओ. क्या अद्भुत आनंद मिलेगा इसमें से. So don't waste time, right? So Gnaneshwari is an extraordinary exposition on the Bhagavad Gita. The point is that this is a par excellence truth. And as we set this destination, the relationship is built. As the relationship is built, there is the rasa in the relationship. See, isn't it true? Why does a person want to marry another person? Because they're experiencing so much joy. I'm in love with you. We use this expression, I love you. I'm in love. So really, you're in love? Oh my God! Now this relationship is very gotten deep. Okay, very good. If that love continues and expands, it's fantastic, beautiful, right? We don't want obstruction in that love. So when we say love, again, this is an English word, but the word actually is bhakti. Don't confuse bhakti with entangled attachments. Entangled attachments in the worldly experience. That is not bhakti, that is ego, that is ahankar. So there's a difference between the two. That is why Bhagwan Krishna in the chapter 15 again says, Nirmana moha jita sanga dosh. I said, jita sanga dosh. Sanga dosh mein aana nahi chahiye. We have contact with all kinds of people, places, etc. But asanga shastrena dridena chitva, asangatva. तो मेरा कौन है? मेरा कोई नहीं है, भगवान है. It's very easy for Sachin to say, but to reach that kind of development, बहुत बड़ी बात. It's an internal vertical ascent. Please understand this point. It is not that that the abode of God, we can take a spaceship, some extraordinary rocket ship, and reach the Bhagavad Dham. You cannot reach the Bhagavad Dham. It's beyond space. It's beyond space, time, and causality. You cannot reach the abode of God, the Param Dham. Usko spaceship se we cannot reach that. Gunatitanand Swami कहते हैं, he said in Gujarati, in the villages at that time, over 200 years ago, कि बाह्य दृष्टि थी भगवानનું ધામ લાખ ઘણું છેટું છે, અંતરદૃષ્ટિ થી અણુ માત્ર છેટું નથી. Gujarati. From internal realization, it's right here. We're actually right there. There's no coming and going. आना जाने का है ही नहीं इसमें. It is a vertical internal ascent out of the Jagrat Swapna Shushupti Avastha into the Brahman consciousness. That who am I? Sachin is just a name. This is just a form only, made out of Prakriti. That's not actually who I am. Who am I actually? I am that consciousness, Sat Chit Ananda. I am that divinity. But to reach that Divyata, the 9 forms of devotion through Ishta Devata, Bhagwan ki jo upasna hai, और भगवान के जो भक्त का जो महिमा है, in this case Radha and Krishna, what does that do for us? That direction sets, it cleans up this entanglement, that which is the Atma and that which is not the Atma. See, this is called Atma Anatma Vivek. Shankaracharya ji has written a lot about this. This whole point of Vedanta is that which is not the Atma, separate that out. That which is the Brahman, separate that out. And that is called Viveka Drishti. So when we separate this thing out through the 9 forms of devotion, and of course through Vedantic contemplation, which we have been doing also, when we combine both of these together, this separation happens. That which is Brahman, that I am Tattvamasi. Upanishad has 6 Mahavakyas. Tattvamasi, Ayam Atma Brahma, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, Soham, Pragnananam Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. These are the 6 Mahavakyas in the Upanishads. They are called Mahavakya because they are spoken from the enlightened state. When we are no longer stuck in the entanglements of the 3 gunas of Maya, Sattva Gun, Rajas and Tamas. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. These 3 are the gunas of Maya. So when we evolve out of that through the 9 forms of devotion, there is a natural retraction of all Ojas Shakti, Ojas Tejas, both, back into the Atma. And so you are self-luminous. It is called Swayam Jyoti. Swayam Prakash. In Sanskrit, this beautiful word is there. Swayam Prakash. The Atma is self-luminous. It is not illuminated by something external. Like, for example, the sunlight is illuminating the room that I'm sitting in right now. Yes. So that is called Paratantra in Gujarati. And there's Swatantra. These are Sanskrit words also. Paratantra and Swatantra. Paratantra means there's a dependency. That if I want to see the forms of this world, I have to have light. Then the forms are revealed. But if we want to realize the Atman is not lit by anything or anybody. It is Swayam Prakash. It is Satchit Ananda. It is the light of billions and billions of suns. Even those billions of suns are nothing compared to the light of the Atman. And that Atma is the Sharir of Paramatma. Yasya Atma Shariram, as per Vishishtadvaita Vedanta. Fascinating. Most interesting, right? So Bhagwan ki upasana karenge. Then this ascent, it is like climbing a mountain. It's just an analogy. You're not really climbing a mountain like that. It is an internal ascent. It is a growth of the mind into extraordinary best quality of antakarana. Mansik bhav, mansik shakti. The quality of the mind, it increases. Man shuddha ban jata hai. Ashuddha man ka to pravesh hi nahi hota isme. Shuddhikaran. And from that beautiful, stabilized, purified manovritti, antakaran, bhakti again continues. And then it reaches Prem-Lakshana Bhakti. It borders on that. It opens that doorway. When Prema Bhakti actually opens up, and you're sitting just in dhyan, you're taking the name of the Paramatma, by Krupa, Bhagavad Krupa se, Radhika ji ki Krupa se kya hota hai? What happens? The Atman is revealed. There's a revelation. I am this. I am not this. I am Soham Shivoham Chidananda Rupam Shivoham Shivam. This is an advanced stage of sadhana. As one has ascended and has gone into that, touch that divinity. Koi rag, dvesh, aham, mamatva, shadripu, all this, this is totally out. Kachra. It is trash. That trash is gone from the root. Every particle of trash is gone. Vishaya nivartante niraharasya dehina rasavarjam rasopesya param drushtva nivartate. So that is the point. Alright, so let's stop here for now. We will continue on this a lot more further as we are continuing by the will of Bhagwan. Welcome to all the new people online. And again, as I mentioned, at 9 o'clock a.m. every Friday, we start the Mahalakshmi Ji ki puja with Havan. It is done with Havan. It's a pretty extensive process. 15 times Shri Suktam plus other mantras, Lakshmi Rudayam and Lakshmi Sahasranam, all those things are chanted so that there's no obstacle in the material world. It is a Ved mantra. Shri Suktam is a Ved mantra. Om Hiranyavarnam Harinim Suvarna Rajatastrajam. This is how it goes. It's a Ved mantra. So we use some audio with that. It's a beautiful way to do it. Some local people do come here from time to time. So lots of prayers for all of you. All you have to do, write down on a 3x5 card or on a sheet of paper what you would like to see happen in your worldly life. Put an Omkar there and then just place it in front of a diya on the touching the diya, have a beautiful murti of Mahalakshmi Ji, Lakshmi Narayan Bhagwan, and just a prarthana, and so that mantra, Om Shrim Rim Shrim Kamale Kamalale Prasida Prasida, Om Shrim Rim Shrim Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha, that mantra you can listen to also on YouTube if you want to, that's fine. Otherwise, just keep that sankalp. I will do the prarthana for all of you, as well as for just in general for the whole world, that the problems and difficulties and all of the other kinds of issues that are there, they be resolved, right? With that, we'll do the closing mantra now, and then if there's any questions or comments, then we can address them. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvada Om Ganganapade Namaha Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Shri Radha Krishna Arpanamastu, Om Rim Swaha.